We are starting off today with the Bloodline, who continue to steal the show on SmackDown ahead of Survivor Series, and the show opened with Solo Sikoa's Bloodline and Roman Reigns nowhere to be seen. Solo set up a big main event segment where he expected a surrender, and during the show, Reigns and the OG Bloodline were seen mulling over who their fifth man would be. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins were both considered members, though Reigns was against either man, and by the time of the main event, Sikoa was expecting a surrender. That isn't what happened, as Reigns, Sami Zayn, and the Usos got in the ring to stand against the new Bloodline, with the Utah crowd filling the arena with OTC chants. Solo said he wasn't there to fight Roman, and in fact he'd never stopped loving the OG Bloodline members, and proposed the two sides joining together as one Bloodline. Solo said that the group would run WWE for decades if the four joined his Bloodline, and said without a fifth member, they would join or die where you stand. Roman took a second before we heard Paul Heyman's signature "ladies and gentlemen" to a huge pop from the crowd, who chanted along word for word to the introduction. Heyman is back, but said there was no way that Wargames would work with 4 vs 5, and he personally introduced the fifth member to the original Bloodline, CM Punk. Punk took to the ring and a brawl ensued, and in the end it was the OG Bloodline who stood tall to close the night with CM Punk by their side. The question is though, where does Heyman's loyalty rest, as did he return as the advocate for CM Punk, or did his comeback come about as the special counsel to the OTC Roman Reigns? The show closed with Punk and Reigns standing face to face as fans gave this a rightful "this is awesome" chant, as Punk's return was a genuine shock to the audience. After all, fans had speculated that it had been Rollins who'd joined, despite him saying no, or even Cody Rhodes, given that he'd already teamed with Reigns at Bad Blood last month. Some had even predicted Brock Lesnar's return as the group's fifth member, and we have to give kudos to WWE's creative team for the unpredictable, surprising reveal. Now Punk will compete at Survivor Series, the show he returned at just 1 year ago, and were you expecting this surprise reveal? Let us know down below. Heyman's return may have given Reigns' Bloodline its fifth member, but the OTC seemed upset and was seen asking CM Punk why he was there. Punk responded by pointing to Heyman, saying that he was back for his old friend, not for Reigns, and the tensions were so visible, fans can't help but wonder if their beef is real. The answer to that question is probably yes, as there have been multiple instances where Reigns and Punk have expressed their thoughts about each other and are often not complimentary. During his AEW run, Punk often spoke against WWE, and in an interview with BT Sport, Reigns said at one time that those statements came from bitter people. In the interview, Roman even said that Punk was not as good or over as John Cena and didn't move the needle like The Rock, so there appears to be real-life beef between the two. Shortly after SmackDown went off the air, CM Punk and the OG Bloodline posed for the live audience, with Reigns and his allies doing the iconic Bloodline pose, but Punk didn't. Instead, Punk hit his go-to-sleep pose for the live crowd, immediately setting himself apart from the others and again raising questions as to whether Punk can coexist. Despite this, Solo Sikoa's Bloodline will have quite a tough task ahead of them, as the might of Punk, Reigns, the Usos, and Sami Zayn is going to make it almost impossible for Sikoa to win. Punk's appearance on SmackDown marked his first TV appearance since the post-Bad Blood Raw, but what's in store for the best in the world after Survivor Series Wargames? To no surprise, fans shouldn't expect to see Punk as part of the Bloodline past Survivor Series, but this angle will lead into the long-awaited feud between Punk and Seth Rollins. WRKD Wrestling reports that Punk will bring up joining Team OG Bloodline in his feud with Rollins, with Punk arguing that he stepped up to help fight off Sikoa's group when Seth refused. The plan remains for the pair to have a match at WrestleMania 41, a match that would have happened this year if not for Punk's injury suffered in the Men's Royal Rumble match. It'll be interesting to see how Rollins reacts to Punk taking the spot many expected he'd fill, and we'll have to see if their feud reignites on the Raw after Survivor Series or later on. Speaking of Raw, Punk's appearance on SmackDown has led to questions as to his brand status, but the short answer is no, he has not left Monday nights. With Raw's impending arrival on Netflix, Punk will remain a fixture of the Red brand, and his role last night is purely connected with the ongoing Bloodline storyline. Once Punk's involvement ends, he'll be back on Raw, where fans can expect to see his feud with Seth Rollins begin in earnest after next weekend's premium live event. Are you excited about Punk vs. Rollins finally happening? Who will you be rooting for in this collision of two of WWE's top babyfaces? Share your thoughts on the angle down below. Chelsea Green advanced in the Women's US title tournament on SmackDown after she stole a victory in a triple threat match with Bianca Belair and Blair Davenport. The ESTs seem to have had the match won with a 450 splash to Davenport, only for Green to throw her out of the ring and try to steal a cover, and Belair pulled her out to interrupt. Belair drove Green into the steel steps before making another pinfall, which Davenport kicked out of, and then Belair's tag team partner Jade Cargill was shown on the screen. Cargill appeared to have been put through a car windshield according to the video on the Titantron, prompting Belair to leave the match, and Green tried to take advantage. Davenport kicked out of Green's next pinfall attempt but ultimately fell when Green hit the unprettier and advances to the next round of the tournament. Green joins Bayley, who advanced last week with a win over Candice LeRae and B-Fab, but the big story here was the brutal attack on Jade Cargill. As Nick Aldis rushed for the ambulance to leave, Belair entered it to accompany Jade to the hospital, along with referees and officials, as Bayley and Naomi looked on concern. Cargill was scheduled to compete in the next tournament triple threat match against Michin and Piper Niven, but it was confirmed on SmackDown that she isn't cleared to compete. Instead, she'll be replaced by a mystery opponent, though according to rundowns shared by Fightful Select, it'll be Meta4/Legend who takes the spot of Storm. Legend, like her ally Jakara Jackson, doesn't seem to have officially been called up, but both have been on Raw and SmackDown and competed in a tag title match at Crown Jewel. Further details on Cargill's condition are expected in the coming hours or days, and hopefully we'll have news by next week's SmackDown, though it's not known who attacked her. As for the tournament, the fourth first-round match will feature Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, and Elektra Lopez as the three seek to advance to become the first Women's US Champion. As for Green, her next match in the tournament will be against Bayley, with the winner earning a spot in the finals, which will be at Saturday night's main event. But who do you think attacked Cargill? Could it have been Nia Jax, who denied the allegation when asked by Aldis? Or perhaps this was the start of Charlotte Flair's return? Perhaps Cargill is even faking it, though as to why that would be the case, that's unclear, and give your predictions for the attacker down below in the comments section. One name fans may have spotted checking on Cargill was none other than producer/retired superstar Bobby Roode, and it's a rare thing to see the glorious one on WWE TV. Roode quietly stepped away from the ring due to neck issues a few years ago and is now a producer, following the likes of Jason Jordan and Tyson Kidd. Roode is said to be doing well as a producer and has been filling in as an overseer of the Bloodline angle during the ongoing hiatus of Michael P.S. Hayes. Nick Aldis and Jason Jordan calmed Belair down, and the EST told a concerned Bayley to take a walk as emotions were clearly high following the attack on Jade Cargill. More from SmackDown, and after LA Knight defended his title against Berto last week, this week saw another Legado del Fantasma member step up to face him, Santos Escobar. Before the match began, Shinsuke Nakamura delivered a pre-recorded promo which was animated and made clear he's coming for the United States Championship. Nakamura spoke about insecurities that plague LA Knight and vowed to use those insecurities to beat the megastar, and Knight's face showed a genuine level of concern. Something Nakamura said has touched the nerve of the US champion, and he's already in the head of the champion, a push Nakamura has needed after an underwhelming 2024. Escobar used the distraction to attack Knight, and after a break, Santos was still in control, but Knight was able to turn things around and build up a ton of momentum. As Knight was about to hit an elbow drop, Nakamura appeared on the stage as a distraction, allowing Escobar to hit a top rope Hurricane Rana and a frog splash. Knight countered his finisher with the BFT to retain, ending a solid but predictable title bout, but Knight was attacked by Nakamura before he could get to his feet. Escobar once again impressed in the ring, but he needs something more to make him unique, as right now he doesn't feel any different to the leader of any other group in WWE. Speaking of not filling potential, Elektra Lopez needs to be given more to do, as she's a great presence, but never gets to do more than being a valet/manager. Starting a feud with Nakamura before Knight was done with the LDF made it obvious Santos wasn't going to win, and regardless, it's great to see Nakamura back on TV and chasing gold. Before Jon Moxley and LA Knight became big names in pro wrestling, their journey began on the Ohio independent circuit. In a nostalgic moment, now gaining attention, the duo once teamed as part of a 2006 episode of WWE Sunday Night Heat, where they faced The Big Show and Paul White in a handicap match. At the time, LA Knight was competing under the name Dick Rick. Fast forward to today, and LA Knight is one of WWE's hottest stars and the reigning United States champion. Reflecting on Knight's rise, Moxley spoke candidly about his former tag team partner's relentless drive and perseverance during an interview with CBS Sports' Shaquille Majuri. The best thing about his story is it's the perfect example of an overnight success that took 20 years, Moxley said. People expect instant results and quit when things get tough, but no one's journey is smooth all the way to the top. LA Knight never gave up, even when the odds were stacked against him. Moxley highlighted Knight's unwavering focus and determination despite countless challenges. He had his vision and stuck with it, no matter what anyone said. People think WWE just discovered him one day, but they don't see the 2 decades of grinding and setbacks he endured to get there. That's the kind of persistence people can learn from. LA Knight's journey from indie underdog to WWE United States Champion is a testament to perseverance paying off. With Moxley's heartfelt praise, it's clear Knight's 2-decade grind has inspired not only fans, but his peers as well. After Nick Aldis asked Nia Jax if she was involved in the attack on Jade Cargill, Cody Rhodes walked to the ring for his face-to-face segment with Kevin Owens. Owens taunted Rhodes from the crowd and said everything that's happened is Cody's fault because Rhodes worked with the man who tried to end KO's career, Roman Reigns. Owens was finally allowed to explain his actions over the past 2 months and promised to cross the line during their match in an impassioned speech from the Canadian. Cody responded well, suggesting that Owens is the only person to blame for his failures and brought up their previous WWE Championship match at Bash in Berlin. As fiery as the promo was, Owens seemed to ignore the elephant in the room that his literal best friend Sami Zayn has rejoined the Bloodline and is an ally of Roman Reigns. Owens is ready to end Cody's career because of one tag match with Reigns, but is ignoring his best friend aligning with the OTC, and one has to wonder why that's the case. Perhaps he is too hurt by what Zayn has done, and either way, the lack of explanation is a cloud over the Owens-Cody story and needs to be addressed sooner rather than later. There was a wild Giovanni Vinci spotted in a backstage segment with Cody Rhodes and Carmelo Hayes, during which Rhodes told Nick Aldis to reevaluate his #1 draft pick. Hayes was the #1 male pick for SmackDown and arrived by facing Rhodes, and could this be the start of a build towards a rematch for the two? SmackDown also saw Bayley and Naomi team to face Candice LeRae and Tiffany Stratton, and Nia Jax accompanied the two heels trying to get in her good books. Tiffany and LeRae argued over who'd start, allowing Naomi to hit a knee strike that floored Miss Money in the Bank, and the heels again argued after a commercial break. This bickering didn't stop them from asserting control, and if anything motivated LeRae to take down Naomi and Bayley, and this match was decent for the most part. It did have more than one sloppy moment, and thanks to Nia Jax getting involved, the match ended in a DQ, which made the whole thing feel cheap in the end. Io Sky ran down to make the save, but Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez showed up to attack her too, which brought out Rhea Ripley, still wearing her protective face mask. Mommy arrived with a kendo stick and helped clear the ring to end the segment, continuing the build to next week's women's Wargames match. Last week, the Motor City Machine Guns put the WWE Tag Team titles on the line against the Street Profits, only for the match between the two excellent teams to end in a DQ. This week, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin were seen with Johnny Gargano, who has been grappling with the erratic behavior of Tommaso Ciampa in recent weeks. It was Ciampa who disrupted last week's tag match, escalating tensions, and as if that weren't enough, the Profits delivered cheap shots to the champions after the match. Despite all this, the Guns confirmed to Gargano that it would be the Profits, not DIY, who received the next title shot, and Ford and Dawkins appeared shortly after to reinforce this decision. It may be surprising to some fans to see Gargano sidelined, but this decision makes sense given the unresolved outcome of the previous Guns-Profits match. With the tag division heating up, the Guns are at the center of a storm of competitive opponents, a stark contrast to the division on Raw that has seen just one defense on TV since June. It's safe to say that CM Punk's AEW run didn't go as many had hoped, as just over 2 years after his arrival, Punk was fired due to his involvement in backstage fights. One name Punk worked with in AEW is QT Marshall, as the pair competed in Chicago in 2021, and when speaking to the Metro, Marshall recalled being picked by Punk. He said, "He just wanted to work a bad guy in his hometown. We really didn't communicate too much before the match, and we just went out there, and we just had a good old wrestling match." Speaking about Punk's issues in AEW that led to his exit, Marshall added, "I think coming into this company, and I think it showed with how he left the company as well, he probably had a lot of trust issues with a lot of people. Him and I were never friends, but at the same time, I knew what my goal was and what his goal was for that night, and I just had a great time with it. Luckily, I've been watching CM Punk matches for 10 years, 15 years, and he really doesn't change what he does, so it kind of helped out a lot as well, but having the trust to go out there on live TV with somebody like that at such a high level, to just know that, hey, that's your job, I do take pride in that. Whether Punk's apparent lack of trust led to his AEW exit, that's something fans will debate for years to come, but the Chicago-made star has made himself back at home in WWE. What do you make of Marshall's comments? Should Punk have been more trusting of others in AEW, or was he a victim of the elite? Give your thoughts below. As we previously reported, Saraya teased a new side of herself that fans can expect to see soon on Dynamite, but that reinvention may not be something fans see soon. Speaking to the buzz on the red carpet of the American Reality TV Awards, Saraya said that she's taking a little break from her work to do more stuff on the red carpet. Saraya also shared that she's filmed an episode of Catfish, which should be fun, according to the Brit, and we'll have to see when we see Saraya back in the ring. Now, Becky Lynch parted ways with WWE in June, though fans remain hopeful she'll be back, and this week she and Seth Rollins stole the show at the premiere of Moana 2. The pair, alongside their daughter Rue, walked the blue carpet in Hawaii and were dressed to impress, though Liv Morgan had some choice words for the man. Morgan sarcastically said she's glad Lynch is enjoying retirement, and said Rue looks beautiful, as she clearly suggested that fans have seen the last of Lynch in the ring. This taunt could be an indication that Lynch will make a comeback and come for Liv, who may have crossed a line by bringing Lynch's family into her taunts this week. Backstage news now as WWE's creative mastermind Michael Hayes is officially back. After a brief personal leave, the architect behind some of WWE's most unforgettable storylines has resumed his pivotal role, once again steering the ongoing epic of the Bloodline. According to Fightful Select, Hayes wasted no time diving back in, taking on a heavy slate of producer assignments for tonight's double taping of WWE Smackdown. Renowned for shaping Roman Reigns' meteoric rise and the intricate storytelling that defines the Bloodline, Hayes' return is perfectly timed as WWE builds towards Survivor Series. During his absence, Bobby Roode stepped up alongside Jamie Noble to co-produce Bloodline segments. Roode earned widespread praise for his efforts in maintaining the story's momentum, but Hayes' return has fans and talent buzzing. Known for his ability to craft emotionally charged narratives and jaw-dropping twists, Hayes is expected to bring the Bloodline saga back to its signature depth and intensity. Now, WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus has set the wrestling world abuzz with speculation about a possible return. Ahead of the final Monday Night Raw before Survivor Series Wargames, Stratus dropped a mysterious teaser on social media, hinting at a major surprise. On Instagram, she posted a video captioned simply Monday, alongside the date 11/25/24. The clip featured Stratus donning her signature black hat, robe, and gear, accompanied by the ominous track Dark Side. The visual strongly hints at the return of her heel persona, which she revived during her last in-ring run in 2023. Although no official announcement has been made, the post has fueled excitement among fans as Stratus, a 7-time WWE Women's Champion, last appeared at the Money in the Bank Premium Live event where she served as host. In past interviews, she mentioned she'd consider returning to WWE if it could inspire the new generation and captivate fans. With women's wrestling thriving like never before, a comeback by Stratus could be a strategic and impactful move. She has also expressed interest in facing the current crop of WWE talent, sparking further speculation that her teased appearance might spark the beginning of another in-ring return. Her last rivalry with Becky Lynch, which culminated in 2023 at WWE Payback, proved she can still deliver epic performances. Is Trish Stratus gearing up for a surprise return on Monday Night Raw next week? Share your thoughts below. And we're ending with more SmackDown, as in singles action, Montez Ford was looking to get revenge on Tommaso Ciampa, and neither Johnny Gargano nor Angelo Dawkins accompanied the pair for their entrances. Ciampa's aggression gave him the early lead, but Ford's physicality and agility quickly gave him the upper hand in a match of two superstars who were lauded for many reasons. It's therefore no surprise they stole the show in the main event match of the night, and Ciampa being able to show his aggression again was fun for fans of the Blackheart. After all, he's been a babyface for most of his main roster run except for his short alliance with The Miz, so fans who don't watch NXT may not be aware of how vicious he can be. After surviving a knee to the face, Ford won by countering Ciampa into a pinfall, and an irate Ciampa attacked the victor until Angelo Dawkins was out to make the save. Gargano arrived to play peacemaker, but Ciampa went after Dawkins, and after shoving his own partner to the mat, Ciampa left to avoid the Motor City Machine Guns. Once again, the SmackDown Tag Division is showing the very best of the teams involved, and where do you see this booking going? Give your thoughts down in the comments.